Unscripted, unshackled, uncouth.
What you're about to hear is for more mature audiences only.
It's Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Hello and welcome to Miguel and Holly Uncensored. This is our off-air podcast that we do 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Make sure to give us a listen on the other podcasts like Miguel and Holly Full Show podcast, Queen City Confessions. And then while you're at it, just move Hits 96.1 into the little preset. Super easy to do.
Like you can just click on the preset and add it, or you can click on the Hits page. There's a thing that says preset. Boop.
You don't have to miss anything. Kelvin is at a broadcast right now at Dave & Buster, so he's doing that right now. But so it's just us.
Hey.
Yeah, not going to be a long podcast today.
Why is that? You look a little tired.
It's been a morning. There's a lot going on. Today is like one of those shows where we were celebrating International Women's Day by playing the talkbacks of women.
Right.
And so there was that, and then we're doing the contest for Kendrick Lamar's SZA tickets.
There's a lot of stuff going on. The little things that need to be.
Yeah.
They take mental capacity.
It's a lot, and so just balancing that, and then just having to run everything, and then making sure we're on time, and that everything is tight. There was a lot of elements today on today's show. You come in, say hi. Come say hi.
Who is it?
It was Trevor, boss man Trevor.
Hey, Trev.
He saw me talk. I think he knows we're doing the podcast. He looked in the window and then turned right back around. He was like, nope.
Bitch, come in here.
Not getting sucked in. That's
No,
okay.
He's not going to want to.
There was something I was going to talk about, and I can't remember now.
You didn't write it down?
Nope.
Oh, no.
Damn it.
Well, the podcast is over.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a great day. We'll see you all next week.
Miguel and Holly, Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to.
No, I'm kidding. No, I do remember now. So I've been debating on if I wanted to do this for a while, and I thought let's talk it through on the podcast.
Okay.
Listen, you know me. I'm always trying to look for more ways to make some more money, to get some more greenbacks.
Well, yeah.
And I saw this thing that I was invited on TikTok to become part of TikTok Shop.
Yeah, I got invited a long time ago, and I'm like, that's got to be fake. I don't know.
Well, I signed up for it.
Oh.
And I just bought something off of TikTok Shop. And so now what you do is, now that I've bought it and I am going to be using it, then I make a video about it, and then I post it, and then I make a commission off of all the sales from it.
Right, but you had to have bought something off of TikTok Shop in order to then sell it?
Yeah, so basically that's how it works, where they have these things that they offer, and then it's like an endorsement where you buy it, and then they want you to give your honest review, and then if you like it, you make a video about it, and then you make a little commission off of whatever it is.
But well, hold on. But you have to invest your own money to buy the thing first.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you're not going to make a video.
Correct. Or you can make a video and say, I don't like it, but maybe you will, or whatever the case. I don't know.
Okay.
So there was something, so that's why I haven't done it, because there was nothing that I was like, ooh, I want to buy it off of TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
And then I saw something and I was like, ooh, I actually really like that. And then when I moved it to my cart, it was like, don't forget, you've signed up for the shop, and so you can make money if you like it. But I just feel like it's very hokey. I don't know, like that's
one of the things that's keeping me from doing any of this stuff. I feel like, tell me if this is right for you or not. I feel like I'm going against the relationship that we've forged with you,
right,
the fan member.
Right.
Like suddenly I'm going from being like, hey, it's me, Holly. Like we're just having a one-on-one conversation. I'm going to tell you about my mental health struggles. I'm going to tell you about like the crazy shit my kid did. And oh, by the way, did you want to get this water pick for your mouth? It's only $5.99. And I bought it from TikTok and I love it. Like,
right.
I don't know.
So here's where my thoughts have evolved on this.
Okay.
One, we endorse products and then talk about it on our show.
Yeah, but not. It's like different. That's in a commercial break.
No, I mean, but it's part of the content that
No,
you listen to.
I know.
And that's why, like, when you listen to our endorsements, we don't put music, we don't, not no sound effects. It's just us talking to you,
Mhm.
telling you about how much we enjoy this product, whatever the case may be.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, if I can make it part of content on my TikTok, then I feel like it's fair because I'm not going out of my way to do it. This was something that I needed, that I really wanted for our house. And when I saw it, I was like, this is what I've been looking for. So if I was going to make a video anyway that was going to be authentic to
Mhm.
something I would already do, why not also make money off of it as well?
Ye-
Because everyone else is
Yeah.
doing it.
I mean, everyone else is doing it. I know.
So it's this sort of like buffet table that you would put like behind your couch or up against a wall in like a hallway or something.
Mhm.
And we have this like large wall in our living room in the townhouse where it's just extra space that it's sort of awkward. We didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
And so that's why I was like, maybe like a large table or something could go there. We could put some lamps because I'm always looking to not use overhead lighting.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this will be a great spot to put some lamps, some pictures on it, and some plants or something. And then it was on TikTok shop for $120. And I'm like, well, this is perfect because this would have cost $400 or $500 at like Ashley Furniture or somewhere like that.
Oh, dang.
So I'm gonna make a video today because Abe put it together yesterday.
Oh,
And I just don't know how I feel about it.
you about to sell a table.
But I mean, you've seen, like, I did a video for the Habitat for Humanity Restore. Where it was organic. I endorsed it on the radio, and Abe bought stuff from there, not knowing that I was endorsing it because he likes the Restore. Refurbished this beautiful cabinet, and I was already filming content for it before I even got the endorsement. And I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." So I put together a video, and it's regular content of what I was already doing with Abe. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it.
Maybe I need to sign up. Like, the last thing I bought on TikTok was indeed a water pick, like for your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a good one, by the way. Like, it's I would try to sell it because, man, the girl that sold me on it, I was like, done, sold. Now, I was a little drunk at the time, but I was on TikTok and she was talking about like getting anything that's stuck in between your teeth out with this water pick, and it was literally like $5. And I'm like, come on. I've always tried, like, maybe wanted them, but they're like lots of money, either like $50 or more, I feel like. And I was like, $5. So then I bought it and I realized why it's so cheap. Because those ones that you buy are like hooked up to your water. Like, you have to hook it up to the sink so that there's a steady jet stream of this water, and you like plug it in and all this. Well, this one that I got, it's battery operated and it's a self-contained unit where you actually fill it with like this much water, like, I don't know, 4 ounces of water. And then it shoots the water out, but you can barely get around the top part of your teeth before the water runs out and you got to refill it.
Oh.
But she did such a good job selling it. I'm like, I could sell it, but then what am I going to get from $5? I'm going to get 10 cents every time I sell one of these damn things.
But I mean, it adds up.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I guess I could look at it. I feel the same way though about like, I'll sometimes get emails that are like, "Hey, if you want this, I don't even know what it is, perfume, we want to partner with you," or whatever it is. And then I'm always like, first of all, is that allowed? I don't know if we are legally allowed to do that.
Girl, I don't care anymore. Listen.
Oh.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of firings in our industry yesterday, and I sort of had a tailspin last night.
Oh, worse than earlier this week?
Yep.
Okay.
One of the radio companies fired, it's rumored, between 200 and 300 people yesterday.
What's weird is that I have seen nary a thing on social media, except for like one dude that I'm friends with on Facebook. I saw his post. But remember when iHeart was going through some restructuring or whatever, there were like dozens of industry articles about it, and they were listing like names about who was gone. And then another company did it too, and they did the same thing. But it's been very quiet, or am I just not seeing it?
I think you're just not seeing it. Like I sought it out because I saw one person post about it,
Right.
and then I started to see more. And then if you go like on all
Is
the
there a
radio trade,
list?
yeah,
All right.
it's
Okay.
it's a
Hold on.
long
I'm
list.
just gonna put it in my search bar so I remember to look after this.
Yeah, but I'll get to that here in a second. But
Got it.
sort of along the lines of the TikTok thing, I want to sort of put a cap on this conversation.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you all, and this is too sensitive to do on the radio, just because I want to provide context, and I didn't want someone to half hear it and be like racist, something like that. And so I was like, let's do it in the podcast where I can actually have a full conversation.
Yeah, because somebody would.
So there's this trend on TikTok that I took part in where there's a clip from the Tarzan cartoon movie from some years ago.
A long time ago. That was
Yeah.
like
Was
90s?
it 90s or early
I think
2000s?
it was 90s because it was like the Phil Collins
Yes,
soundtrack, wasn't that? It was like 90s, I'm pretty sure.
So basically you take the audio, you mouth it, and you're basically making the fun of the fact that you have an odd name or a name that isn't normal to you. So like we always joke that like my name is Miguel
Mhm.
and people think I'm Hispanic.
Yes.
And then I'm like, no, I'm black.
Yeah. Atlanta Black, if you
Atlanta
will.
black is what I always say.
Mhm.
So this is the audio from the
So, what you gonna call it?
I'm gonna call him Tarzan.
Tarzan? Okay, he's your baby. So, what
so I'm mouthing it. I'm just sitting here,
That's pretty funny.
right. And it says nurse to my black mother in Atlanta
gonna
in
call it?
1985.
I'm gonna call him Tarzan.
My mother, Miguel.
Right.
And my caption says, when I was single, so many guys would block me on dating apps asking if I was Latino just because my name is Miguel. And I'd reply, nope, just black. So people were like,
boy.
oh my God, that's so funny. Ha ha ha. And then somebody said, I'm not sure if this sound is okay, man.
Oh.
And I was like, what do you mean by that? And it took me a minute. And then I was like, oh, it's because I'm black and Tarzan deals with monkeys. And I was like,
Oh.
is he correlating that? Like,
Is that what it is?
that's why I'm still confused.
I can't even remember.
So, what you gonna call it?
I'm gonna call him Tarzan.
Tarzan? Okay, he's your
So I was like, is he?
I don't even remember the Tarzan story. Was he raised by?
Yeah, he was raised by chimpanzees, apes. I'm not sure what exactly. And but
But
then
it was like lions or something. Am I mixing that up? I don't even remember. I never saw the Tarzan movie all the way through.
right.
I never have.
I've actually never watched outside of hearing "You'll Be in My Heart." Like
Right.
I
Seriously,
never watched it.
I mean, the soundtrack does slap, but I think I only saw the beginning of it like 75 times because I was a babysitter. I was like in high school and I babysat these kids that loved it. But as you know, kids don't ever finish a movie. So I saw the beginning of Tarzan quite a few times. I've never seen the end. I don't even know. I don't remember it at all. So are they saying it's racist?
That's why I just like laughed and I was like, ha ha ha, because I was like, I don't know. And that's why I was coming to you all to see if maybe there's something that I'm missing here. Or maybe this audio isn't even from Tarzan and it's something else. And I completely missed the point.
No, I'm pretty sure that audio is from Tarzan.
Because that's
Well,
why I
it was
assumed.
Tarzan. They say Tarzan in it.
Right. So that's why I was like, I was really confused. So I just laughed. That's what I do when I'm nervous. I don't understand the joke. I'm just like, ha ha ha.
your baby. So, what you gonna call it?
I'm gonna call him Tarzan.
Tarzan? Okay, he's your baby.
So is it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like, I think that, like, listen, I am glad that we're in an age when we can call out when things might be a little sus without
Right.
judgment.
Right.
Because sometimes people just need to learn. But I think we might be doing too much.
Okay.
I think this might be doing too much. Mm-mm.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because then I posted it on TikTok first, and then the next day I put it on my Instagram story, and I put it on like the trial reels that you can do. And so then I was like, all right, just let it go and see what happens. And so then I saw that comment and I was like, oh, should I take it down? Am I like being racist to myself? Am I I was really
If you don't feel like you're being racist to yourself, then I think it's okay.
okay. Okay. This is why we have the podcast to just run stuff by each other. Cause I'm like, and if you listen to this later without watching it, if you're not watching it live and you're like, well, here's the point you missed, please message me on Instagram.
Maybe we are missing something. Hold on, I'm gonna Google another thing.
All right, let's see. Anne Marie said, it is Tarzan and he was raised by great ape. So I think they took it very wrong, even though not your intention. It is silly. Shan said some people are very sensitive about it. And then Doe said, I think whoever made that comment is reaching. You weren't being racist. Okay, thank you. Okay, so thank you. Now moving on, next topic.
No, I saw nothing on Google whatsoever, so that's fine.
Okay. Tony said, happy Friday, fam. Happy 3rd anniversary, Miguel and Holly. So grateful to be a part of your community. And Marie said, Tony, great memory. Yes, happy 3rd anniversary to the best morning show ever. Lynette said, happy 3 years.
Thank you.
Amy Gordon said, happy 3 years, Miguel and Holly.
Mm.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
That
it
means
is,
a lot.
I was just recently chatting with a friend who I feel like around this time, they're always like, so how are you feeling since the move? You're 3 years in now. Like, are you happy with your decision? Do you regret the decision? And I'm like, well, there's probably once a week that I think I regret the decision, just to be 100% honest. Sometimes something will happen at work because, even though we get to have fun, it is work.
Mm-hmm.
And something will happen that's very workplace. And I'll be like, we shouldn't have left. Shouldn't have left. And then I'm like, but there are so many wonderful things that have happened in the 3 years that could have never happened where we were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it makes me happy that, yes, there are challenges and there are struggles that we do face that we would not have faced if we were there.
Right.
But
there's always going to be something.
Right. But on a whole, like when I go home, I'm content. Whereas, to be 100% honest, and I'm not going to get into specifics, that was not always the case where we previously were. We would have fun for those 4 hours. And then after the fact, it would not be so fun.
Yeah, we were there for a long time too. So there were different eras of things. I mean, we went through a lot there.
Yeah. So that's why I always feel like this is a good time, especially on the podcast, to just sort of like go back because we have so many of you from our Tampa fam that still, thank God, you came on this journey with us, and we have so many of the Charlotte fam that you've joined in on that we're so grateful for. But I think it's always such a good time to reflect.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Holly, we've all had to go through a lot of change. I mean, how has this been for you?
Weird, because I stayed, and so I have a totally different experience than you and Kelvin do.
Right.
And I still carry a lot of guilt about that, to be honest with you. I can't do as much and I'm not present. And so there's a lot of stuff that I either feel guilty about because I feel like I'm making you do too much of the heavy lifting. Both during the show on any given day and after hours when there are events or whatever. And I'm like, well, I can't do it. So I have a lot of guilt about that still. And I probably always will. But I mean, I like what we do. I really love my little studio here that I have in Tampa. I mean, I love going to work every day. I mean, dude, does it suck to get up that early? Yes. But like once you're out of bed, I tell this to Maya. I'm like, because she's always like, well, too bad you have to work because then you could come to XYZ. And I'm like, no, but I love work. I love you too, and I'm gonna always try to come to everything I possibly can come to, but I also love work. I do it for a reason, which is 180 because my mom hated her job, hated everything about working, hated what she did, hated the building, hated there was at our family dinner nights, it was basically just my mom complaining about how terrible everything was.
Mm.
So, I never wanted to be that way, and I don't. I'm not that way. I love what we do. So, I love, uh, the it took me a while to kind of get into a groove with this the things are the way they are, and I'm sure it was for you too.
Hmm.
And I miss you. Like, I miss you in a way of like, oh, I don't get to see you in real life. And
Right.
sometimes I feel disconnected just because, you and Kelvin do all these things together. And I'm like just this ghost of a person.
She's like, hey guys, I'm here.
Like sometimes I just take a back seat to like y'all going at things. But then it's like, A, I'm not there to be in it. And B, I'm not a gay man, so I'm also not in it.
Right.
And I'm not a man at all. So there's another, and I have a kid, and there's all these differences that like the divide seems greater sometimes. And when I was in depression, I was like, I don't even know why they need me. Like, I don't even know why I'm here. That was a rough time. But glad I'm not in that anymore.
Right.
Especially I give a lot of props to my friend Aaron, who was like, you bring a needed perspective. So I was like, yes, you're right, I do. So anyway, it's an interesting take because I love what we do and I love being able to do it from here still because I simply could not have moved. And I feel like my mom being in a nursing home and me being a full-time caregiver for her when this journey started 3 years ago was the major deciding factor in the company letting me do it.
Hmm.
And then she died. Like a year and a half in, not even. Wait a minute. No, 1 year
Yeah,
in.
because it was February.
It's February of
Yeah.
23, and we started in March of 2022. So 1 year in, then she died. And then I panicked a little bit because I was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna be like, well, now that that's done, you gotta get your ass to Charlotte." And I told them originally, like, "I can't take my kid out of state. Like, I can't. You need both parents to sign off on that. Not only will my ex-husband not do that, I don't really wanna do that to him or her, my daughter." And so that for me was the major factor. Not to mention I also had my mom in a nursing home, not to mention that my now fiance also has an ex and a daughter that live here. So what was I going to do? Like I was in a really tight spot, which is why I said you can go and they might not want me and that's fine. But then they did. So I just got really worried that they would be like, "Okay, the jig is up. You really gotta move." And then I was gonna be even more worried because I'm like, "I still can't." I think our agent brought it up once, and I was like, sorry, I still can't do it."
Mm.
But they still pay me, so here we are. But it's been such a cool experience. Like, I always described it as, like, astro projecting myself. Like, when I'm in this studio, I'm in Charlotte. Like, this is my Charlotte. I'm
Right.
in here.
Right.
And I don't know anything going on in the Tampa Bay area anymore. Like, the other day, I was like, "Oh, shit, the fair's in town. I'm gonna go to the fair. Oh my god, the Strawberry Festival's going on." I
Right.
had no idea because I only know about Charlotte stuff anymore. Things surprise me all the time about our own area.
Right.
So yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and just know that I still always feel guilty about everything. But at the same time, as Maya's gotten older, it's been so nice to be able to do my job and then do stuff from home if I need to, like social media or whatever, but be home for her. It's given me the best of both worlds where I don't have to be at a car lot on Saturdays, for 2 hours plus the hour drive or the hour after prepping or whatever. Um, we worked a lot up until the pandemic. We worked a lot. And my mom was still very present, so she just helped with Maya. But I don't even know how it's just I've gotten so used to the way we work now. I don't even know how I could go back to quite the pace that we were doing.
I don't think that radio exists in the way that before. I mean, it's literally before the pandemic and after the pandemic. Like you said, when I go back and look for pictures to post and I look at videos and stuff, and I'm like, wait. And I'll go look at the timestamp on videos and pictures, and I'm like, wait, we did all that in one day? It's like we did the show, the podcast, teacher of the week somewhere in Port Richey. Then I would be somewhere back at the station for something, and then would be at Franklin Manor that night, and then I'd be up at
The
in
next
Lakeland
day-
and at Jenkins Mitsubishi, and I'm like,
yes.
and then I was at
Wild.
brunch later that day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, when did I? Now I'm like, girl, I want to do nothing.
You're like, I need one activity a day. That's all I can do. One a
We
day.
had an event last week here in Charlotte, and I was like, oh my God. But I'm like, we haven't done anything since Stuff a Bus.
True.
But I was like, all right, girl, you can do this. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should ever. The only time that I think I've ever like bristled because I had to do something, it was when you were in town and then you had to do a first pitch for something.
Yeah.
And then they were like, Miguel, can you go with Holly? And I was like, bitch, I've had to go 3 first pitches and now I gotta go again.
I don't even know why they made you do that.
It doesn't matter.
That's
Doesn't matter.
Like I could have Ubered there.
But that would have been like such a like kerfuffle of you, because where this was now, the memory's coming back now. It would have been like way too much for you to actually like get an Uber, and it would have been too much to do that. But
Not really.
right.
Not really. Like it could have been done.
Right. Yes, nothing is impossible. It could have been done.
Right.
But that was like 3 years ago. That was like when we had first gotten here. So now like it's fine because, you know, of course, when we first got here, they're like, well, every time Holly comes, we're going to have her here. And that is not the case.
No. I mean, it's good for me to do. I wish we did more sales stuff every now and then.
Right.
But the company has cut way down, which I do understand
Right.
why. About how often I am in town, which is fine. Truly. I mean, it's not necessary because some of the visits in the first year where it was like monthly, it was almost like, what are we doing? It
Right.
was like breakneck stuff that didn't need to be done, and it was putting you out. And it was just exhausting me, and the whole thing was very exhausting, and some of it was very pointless.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, there was a pullback, and that's fine. As a matter of fact, it was good because now when I am in town, it's very impactful and it's very purposeful,
Right.
and it doesn't like just totally drain us.
Yeah, because that first year, I remember I'd be like, Holly, I'm sorry. I would love to have dinner with you and like, let's chomp it up, but I need to go home and just sit on the couch.
I know.
I just need to go,
know.
like, just not hear words and people and music and things.
I know.
But now it's so much better. Like, when we do the hometown tour and like we'll do our live show before Love and Life Music Fest again. So
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that very much. I really am, because I had such a good time last year. And so I'm really looking forward to. It's like we're counting down. We are 2 months
Yeah.
in. I got my Botox already for it. I'm ready. I got my Botox on Wednesday, and so it'll take at least 2 weeks to get settled in, and then I'm hoping that it stays through Love and Life at least.
Yes, I'm ready.
So my forehead will be stiff, like it needs to be.
Mm.
I'm excited.
But to sort of put a bow on all that, just thank you for listening to us. If you are the Tampa Bay fam, Panama City fam from way back in the day, the Charlotte fam for embracing us. And we have so many amazing people that have moved from wherever we have been who still listen.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to Rachel. She says from the DMV, so I'm assuming that's like the Virginia, DC
It's like
area.
Washington, yeah.
That area.
Washington,
And I don't
DC.
know if, like, at what point she started listening to us, but she's the one who's always like, have y'all checked in on this Hall of Fame blown off? And I'm like, thank you. We appreciate it. But there's so many of you. I have to make a list of like little things that I notice that you comment on or you share our stuff. Got to give a shout out to Lou Cameron, who every day be posting our videos on their Instagram story, like the shoot your shots and the blown offs and stuff. So all of that stuff we see, and it matters.
Yeah.
And it truly means the world that you take the time out of your busy schedules to interact with us and share our stuff.
Especially the Tampa fam that followed us, because I know that was a blow.
Right.
You know, I mean, the Panama City people know this too. Like, it sucked. It did. And my dental hygienist was a listener. And every time I go in, she's always like, still wish you were here on the radio. And I'm like, I know. And I'm always like, well, you can listen on the iHeart app. And some people just can't. Like
Right.
they just wanted to hear it when they got in their cars on the FM radio dial. And some of those people cannot just make the transition to the iHeart app. And I understand. So that's why I'm like, it was a big deal that so many Tampa people and Panama City people have followed in the app and know that, like, our show has shifted and we're going to talk about Charlotte stuff. And we brought Kelvin in. But you're still here. You're still choosing to listen, even through all of the hard stuff. And, you're just as much a part of the fam as ever. You've just grown with us and moved.
We had a text earlier during the show from an 813 number that said, "Happy 3-year anniversary. I'm still upset you left us here in Tampa, but I know you're doing bigger and better things, so I guess it's fine. LOL. And you gave us Kelvin, and I freaking adore him. Congrats on his wedding next week. You guys are so awesome, and I can't do mornings without you. Keep it up. Love yous." So I get it. Like, I still listen to the morning show that I grew up listening to in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I still listen to that on my way to work every morning to do my morning show. And I'm pretty sure the guy that I listen to is probably going to be retiring soon, but like,
I don't know. You think he's gonna retire?
oh yeah, he's not one of those guys like some of the people we know in the industry who are just holding on.
Mm-hmm.
He's like ready. I think the only reason why he keeps doing it is because he has people on his staff that are still young and he doesn't want them to yank their living out from underneath them. Because I'm pretty sure that once he's retired, they're going to keep the show going. I just don't know if it'll be the same and what will happen, but it's totally possible. I mean, they did it with the Kid Craddock show in Dallas.
I was going to say he died and they still kept it going,
Right. So you never know. But I know like what it is to have that morning show. So that's why I hope I don't sound like beating a dead horse, but I want to make sure to always say thank you because I know what it is to like not have your show that you depended upon, because when Homeboy retires, it's going to be a sad day for me because that has been a part of my life since I was a sophomore in high school. So I get it.
Wild.
All right, and there was one more thing I wanted to talk about before we got done. Oh,
really quick, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
How's Abe? He was out of town for like 3 weeks.
Oh, yes. He got back yesterday, and it's so funny because like before he left, we both were like, "All right, girl, bye, bye, girl, bye, girl," because we're around each other all the time.
Yeah.
And so yesterday when I got home, like before I could even punch our code in, he opened the door and he was like, "Ah!" And I was like, "Ah!" And we were like, "Ah!" And then we were just like on top of each other the whole time. And like we were making dinner. We were like talking the whole time. We were like giddy. Normally we're like listening to music and like saying a couple things here and there.
Right.
But no, he was great. He's doing well. I'm a little worried. He's had this hand thing because he's been a painter or he's been working with his hands since he was in high school.
Yeah.
And he's had this sort of carpal tunnel something,
like a tendon or a something.
Yeah, where like it was really, really bad when he was like painting a lot when we were in Tampa. Where you could like punch his hand and he wouldn't feel anything.
Oh,
it would just feel like pins.
Numb.
And so then we sort of forgot about it because he was sort of dabbling in other things. And there's this big, I don't know if I can talk about what he does.
He like some volunteer work.
Yeah, he does some volunteer work. That has really like, I'll say this. I'm very proud of him. He was voted president of this organization. And so it's really important for him. So he has scaled back on the physical labor stuff. But because he was in Tampa the past 3 weeks working and sort of doing some big painting stuff, it's flared up again. So we're thinking we may have to explore some surgery options because he wants to get his Charlotte painting business up and running fully like it was in St. Pete, Tampa.
Yeah.
But I think before we go down that route, he's going to have to get that fixed. So we were talking about that last night.
That's tough.
Yeah. So, but otherwise, though, he had a good time. He was like, all they did was eat in Tampa Bay area because everybody wants to go to dinner.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do lunches. So he was like, I'm feeling very bulbous.
Oh.
I was like, you don't look at that. You still look good, girl. You look good.
There's some good eats.
Yeah.
to
So
be had.
yeah. So no, he had a good time there, but I'm glad he's back. But he'll be back
Yeah.
down there next month. So
Oh,
more projects. Making that money, girl.
always something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, we already did that. Oh, I just wanted to sort of put a cap on the radio industry because I know Doe Eyes follows Kramer, who we used to work with,
Oh yeah.
who works
yeah.
for the company.
How's he do? Oh, that's that company. Is he?
He's fine. He's fine.
Well, we
they-
might have seen or heard something. Probably.
Yeah, they did lose some people on their staff.
Mm.
So if you listen to another radio program or radio people, just send some good energy because our industry, like most industries, are going through it.
A lot of people are going through it
Yeah.
right now with jobs. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
It could be anybody at any time.
Right.
I mean, I think probably in most industries it's that way, and radio is no different.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Last night I, was well into my edible.
we were going on. Where's the spiral? I hate those spirals.
Oh yeah.
Because
We finished watching, by the way, another shout out for the show Paradise.
I know, write the damn thing down. All right, I got
Watch it. It's so good. But we reached the episode before the season finale, and usually that's where they it's always super crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so intense that I had to take a break before bed.
Oh,
Because Abe was like, do you want to watch the season finale? And I was like, no, I can't. I need an hour to just decompress.
got it.
Well, I logged on to social media, and then the first thing I see were these
A
reduction
spoiler?
in forces
Oh, that.
for the company. So then I started digging into that, and then my edible started to hit. And then I was like, so what if we got let go? What? So then I was like, so what would my plan be? So literally I created a whole note about what we would do with the show, what Abe and I would do financially. I was spiraling.
Oh my gosh.
So then I was like, okay, I need to go put on Outlander the book and go to bed.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to take yourself, forcibly take yourself out of the spiral, or someone needs to be like, okay, but right now, we're not in the worst case scenario. So you probably should take a break from pretending like we are.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say though, is I have a plan now, and that all of us, not just us that work in radio, if you work in any industry, your goal should be to have 6 months of expenses saved.
I know. And man, I know how hard that is too.
It is hard, but start the process. So even if all right, I'm working towards 6 months, but I only got 2 months, but at least you got 2 months of expenses saved.
2 months is better than no months, and $5 is better than no dollars.
Absolutely. So let my spiraling hopefully inspire you to have a cushion for yourself. And Anne-Marie asked, what does Paradise stream on? It's on Hulu. It has Sterling K. Brown from This Is Us, James Marsden, who is such an underrated actor. I love him.
I agree. He's in such great random things. I like him a lot.
And he plays, he's the president in this show, and he has a little bit of a southern drawl, and he's just, I can't wait to watch the season finale tonight.
Okay, I'm excited. I can't wait today to catch up with. I might have to rewatch the episodes from last week. I was not as present as I could have been. I want to catch up with Severance, which is out, and White Lotus. After last week's Severance, I was like, what? I'm gonna have to watch it again just because I'm like, hold on a minute.
Also, I'll encourage you, if you watch Severance, because that last episode, I could tell there were so many things that I was missing.
I know.
Because I don't watch shows to figure it out. I like to just sort of take it in as it's happening.
Yeah.
But with Severance, you kind of have to try to figure it out because there's so many things.
Yeah.
So I watched it, and then I got on TikTok, and then I like to watch the sort of explainer videos.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
We like to have discussions, my fiance and I, about I was like, is this mean this? Is that what that means? And I'm like, but what about that? Does this know that? And he's like, I don't maybe. I'm like, oh, well, we got to figure it out. So
Mhm.
I might watch it again because I think I said that at several points last week too as we were watching it. I'm like, I this is too much.
Mhm.
That episode, like it's almost like slow, but every episode is interesting. But then last week's episode, they just dumped a whole bunch of shit, and they were like, well, here's some answers, maybe,
Right.
kind of.
But I would definitely go down a rabbit hole on TikTok for some of the explainer videos, because some people, there was this girl. So like, I have a notebook like this that I write in for the show. I write my notes and thoughts down.
Mm-hmm.
She does that during Severance. And like last week, she was like, okay, it's 11 o'clock. I just finished watching it. I have all these notes. Some of them I'm not going to go over because they're not fleshed out yet. But here, and I'm like, how do you do that?
I don't want to do homework necessarily.
Right?
I want to enjoy it, but I do love trying to figure it out. So.
And then White Lotus, we need to talk about that too next week, because
I feel like I might need to start all over again, because I feel like I had my edible also. And we do White Lotus after Severance. So by the time White Lotus kicks in, I'm kind of like, what just happened? And it's so weird. God, everyone on White Lotus is so weird,
Mhm.
which is what makes it great.
But I feel like the last episode with especially the 3 women friends.
Yes. And I saw what was happening with the triangulation at first, like with the first part of it, where the 2 get together and they're talking shit. And then the next 2 get together and I'm like, these women hate each other.
But now they've ganged up on just one, where I think that's where it's going to go. So I'm like, ooh, so good. And Doe Eyes said, hubby and I are watching Daredevil. I heard about that on Disney Plus.
Is it good? I don't know. I've never been a Daredevil person, so
Seen
I don't
some
know.
good things about it. All right, y'all. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. We'll be back on Monday. Holly, how can people find you on social media?
Radio Holly on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads.
I'm Miguel Fuller on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and on Peloton. We will see you all on Monday. Bye.
Miguel and Holly Uncensored.
Catch it on the iHeartRadio app or anywhere you listen to podcasts.